Okay, we're going to do more with theme this year later on, but just keep in mind that with theme, different there can be different themes for different stories, and as long as you have evidence in the story to support the theme that you came up with, it's correct, okay? As long as you have evidence to support it. So a piece of writing or a poem can have multiple themes, okay? It all depends on what message the author is trying to share with the world, okay? What can we learn, okay? So it's usually in the form of a statement, okay? We'll talk more about theme later. Let's go to the next page. Poetic Techniques. So you will need that sheet right there. Poetic Techniques. It looks like this, okay? So you need to get this sheet. Put your name on it. This one will actually go in your interactive notebook. We will fold it and put it in our interactive notebook when you finish writing these things down, because you need to know the definitions of these, okay? So, repetition. In the box next underneath repetition, I want you to put this definition, okay? So this is blank, but you're going to write it right here beside repetition. Write the definitions here and here, and then we're going to give some examples of repetition. So you're going to fill this out as you look at this PowerPoint. So I would definitely pause it so that you have time to copy the definition under repetition. So the definition of repetition is when sounds, words, or phrases, or whole lines are used more than once. Okay? So write that down, repetition. So there are several different examples of repetition. So you're going to look back at your poem, Casey at the Bat. You should have a copy of that poem in your I&B, okay? Look back at the poem, and if you don't have a copy, you can look on the cart to see if there are extras or share a neighbor's. But you need to find some different examples in the poem of words being repeated. So here is one example right here. Lines 21, 22, and 23 have Casey's name repeated 3 times. Okay, so that's an example of repetition in poems. So his name is repeated 3 times. So write that right here where it says repetition. Okay, you're going to write it right here. Casey, lines 21 through 23, Casey's name repeats 3 times. Okay, there are a couple other examples of repetition. So I want you to pause this and look through the poem and see if there are any other words repeated more than once. I've listed 4 different examples, including this one. So find those in the poem and just write what lines they're found on and what word is repeated, just like I did in this example here. So over on the box where it says examples from Casey at the Bat, for repetition across from it, you're going to write lines 21 through 23, Casey's name is repeated 3 times. Then you're going to go back to the poem and put the next line or lines that there are repetitions. See if you can come up with 3 more examples of when the author used sounds, words, or phrases or whole lines more than once, and list that here. Okay, next you're going to do rhyme. Okay, so let's look at the next one. Rhyme is a poem. When a poem rhymes when it has a pattern of words that end in the same sound. Okay, so I've given you the examples here, but I want you to go ahead and write the definition of rhyme right here. Okay, write it in this box. So pause the video if you need to. And then I want you to find 3 examples of rhyme. Here are some examples. These are the examples from repetition, the ones that you had to find. Line 35 says, kill him, kill the umpire. That's a repetition. Lines 47 through 48, and now. was repeated multiple times. And in lines 49 through 51, somewhere was repeated a bunch. Somewhere, somewhere, somewhere. So those are the examples. These are the examples that you're going to put in under repetition, right under the first line, which was Casey's name is repeated. And then you're going to write the definition for rhyme right over here. Okay, a poem rhymes when it has a pattern of words that end in the same sound. Now I want you to find some example of some words that rhyme. And I want you to list them on the bottom. Right on the bottom here, different words that rhyme. Okay, see if you can find some of those now. Pause the video. Okay, so here's some examples that you should have for rhyme. You should have the outlook wasn't brilliant for the Mudville 9 that day. The score stood 4-2 with but one inning more to play. And then when Casey died at first and Barrows did the same, a sickly silence fell upon the patrons of the game. So you've got day, play, same, and game. Those are some rhyming words. So list a couple of more rhyming patterns that you see. List them on the blank here. Okay? You're going to do that part on your own. All right, now let's talk about rhyme scheme. We've been going over rhyme scheme for several days, so we're going to practice rhyme scheme. You have this packet here of different stanzas that you're going to have to come up with a rhyme scheme. Okay, you can write on this and then you can put your answers over on the second page if you want to, or if you need to tear those pages apart, you can do that too. Okay, so I want you to go through right now and go through each of these and label the rhyme scheme and then put the rhyme scheme pattern on the second page. This will be for a grade. You're going to do this and turn it in for a grade. Okay, so remember the rhyme scheme is the pattern of rhymes in a poem. The sound at the end of each line determines the rhyme scheme. The rhyme scheme for Casey at the Bat is AABB. So now let's see about these other examples here. These you're going to do on your own on the back page. Also on the back page you have the opportunity, I would like you to write a short rhyming stanza. You can write a whole poem if you wish, but try to come up with a 4-line stanza that has rhymes at the end. Okay, you can use any pattern you choose. When you finish that sheet, this is the front and this is the second page, then you're going to turn it into the basket for a grade. Okay, pause the video and then you'll go to the next video for the next instruction.